India is a land of just incredible contrasts. We're talking snow-capped peaks to sun-drenched coasts, and that same amazing diversity is woven right into its plant life. So in this explainer, we're going to take a journey through India's ecosystems to really understand its astonishingly rich and varied natural vegetation.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big picture, India's incredible biodiversity. Then we'll trek through its rain-soaked evergreen and deciduous forests. From there, it's a journey into the dry, arid lands. Then we'll explore the really unique forests of the mountains and coasts. And we'll wrap up by looking at the critical challenge of conservation.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is natural vegetation? Well, simply put, it's a plant community that has grown all on its own, with no human help, adapting perfectly to the local climate and soil. And in this department, India is a true global heavyweight.
Just think about that for a second. Being one of just 12 mega biodiverse nations on the entire planet, that puts India in a really elite club of ecological richness. This isn't just about having a lot of plants, it's about the sheer mind-boggling variety of life thriving inside one country's borders.
So what's the secret sauce for all this variety? Well, the recipe really boils down to three key ingredients: climate, how much rain falls, and altitude. This map really does a great job of showing how these elements mix and mingle, basically painting the country with all these different vegetation zones, each one with its own unique personality.
And if you look at the numbers, they're just staggering. We're talking about 47,000 different plant species. That includes 15,000 types of flowering plants, which is a full 6% of the entire world's total. And that's not all. The country is also home to around 90,000 animal species and a phenomenal diversity of fish. It's just immense.
All right, let's kick off our journey in the parts of India that get absolutely drenched by the monsoon. This is where we find two totally different kinds of forests, both born from the same rains: the super lush tropical evergreen and the much more widespread tropical deciduous.
So what's the big difference between them? It really all comes down to water. Evergreen forests get soaked with over 200 centimeters of rain every year and have no real dry season, so they stay a vibrant green all year long. Deciduous forests, on the other hand, have to deal with a proper dry spell, which triggers this brilliant survival move. They shed their leaves to save precious water. Picture this. You're walking into an evergreen forest. It's like a multi-layered world. You've got this dense canopy of trees soaring 60 meters, sometimes even more, creating this sea of green that sunlight has a tough time breaking through. These forests are home to incredibly valuable timber like mahogany and rosewood, and they're a sanctuary for iconic animals like elephants and the one-horned rhino. Now compare that to the tropical deciduous forests, which you might also hear called monsoon forests. These are actually the most common forests in India, really defining a huge part of the landscape. For about 6 to 8 weeks during the dry summer, the trees stand completely bare. These forests are where we get highly prized woods like teak and sandalwood, and they're the primary habitat for apex predators like the tiger and the lion. Okay, so from those lush, wet forests, our journey is now taking us to the complete opposite extreme, the arid and semi-arid regions. Here, in the tropical thorn forests, life has evolved in some truly remarkable ways to get by with very, very little water. These thorn forests and scrubs are what you'll find in landscapes getting less than 50 centimeters of rain. So think about northwest India, places like Rajasthan, Gujarat, and parts of Punjab and Haryana. It's a landscape that's been fundamentally shaped by scarcity.
So how on earth does life thrive in such a tough place? Through some really ingenious adaptations. The plants here are basically engineered for survival. They've got these super long roots that hunt for water, succulent stems that store it like a camel's hump, and small waxy leaves that cut down on evaporation. Hardy trees like babul and kedri thrive here, alongside animals perfectly suited to the desert, like the wild ass and, of course, the camel.
All right, our journey now takes us to two very specialized ecosystems, each one forged by its extreme environment. First, we're going to climb up into the high altitudes to check out the montane forests, and then we're heading right down to the coast to see the incredible mangrove forests.
Have you ever been hiking and noticed how the trees and plants around you just change the higher you climb? Well, that fascinating transformation isn't random at all. It's a predictable process, and it's driven entirely by one thing: altitude.
It's really like climbing a ladder of vegetation. At the Himalayan foothills, you're in those familiar deciduous forests. As you go up, the temperature drops, and you pass through wet temperate forests with oaks and chestnuts. Go higher, and you're in the coniferous forests of pine and deodar. Higher still, trees give way to alpine shrubs like junipers, until finally you hit the vast alpine grasslands just below the snowline. It's like traveling from the tropics to the tundra, all in one climb.
Now, this kind of forest isn't just in the Himalayas. Down in the mountain ranges of South India, like the Nilgiris, these unique patches of temperate forest have their own special name. They're called sholas. They are a really distinct and vital part of the southern ecosystem, acting like natural sponges that play a huge role in the water security for the whole region.
So from the mountains, our journey sweeps right down to the coast to another absolutely critical ecosystem, the mangroves. And India's mangrove forests are globally significant. I mean, they make up a massive 7% of the world's total. They are, without a doubt, the living guardians of the coast. Mangroves are absolute masters of survival. They thrive in those tough, salty, tidal zones where rivers meet the sea. They have these complex root systems that can actually breathe and filter salt. They're nature's engineers, protecting coastlines from erosion and storms. The Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta is famous for its sundari trees, and this unique habitat is, of course, the legendary home of the Royal Bengal tiger.
So, having journeyed through all this incredible diversity, we've arrived at our final and maybe our most important stop. How do we protect this priceless green heritage for the generations to come? This is the Great Conservation Challenge.
So why is protecting these forests so absolutely critical? Well, because they are so much more than just a bunch of trees. They are complex, living systems that support our economy and our society. They maintain the very ecological balance that all life, including us, depends on.
Recognizing this, India set up a foundational and, frankly, a remarkably forward-thinking policy way back in 1952. The goals were really ambitious and clear. Get 33% of the country under forest cover, maintain environmental stability, conserve biodiversity, stop soil erosion, and, importantly, create a massive people's movement for planting trees.
And this policy wasn't just words on paper. One of its key results was the creation of 18 biosphere reserves across the country. These are huge, protected areas designed to conserve entire ecosystems. For instance, the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve in the south, which was the very first one, protects those vital shola forests we were just talking about.
Wow! Our journey has taken us clear across the subcontinent, from the wettest evergreen rainforests to the driest thorn scrub. You see, India's vegetation tells this powerful story about life's incredible ability to adapt and to thrive. It's really a testament to nature's resilience and its ingenuity.
But this rich natural heritage isn't some museum piece. It's a living, breathing part of a nation that's developing incredibly fast. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. How can India strike that crucial balance between progress and the preservation of these vital, irreplaceable ecosystems? It's a balance that has to be found. And honestly, it's a challenge that involves every single one of us.